What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, we're going to jump right into Grit. We're going to look at all the different perks that you get with this attribute. Now, right off the bat, Grit does give you a larger stamina pool, but we're going to get into some things a little bit later on in the video that might make your head spin. Jumping right into it, the first perk in Grit is Strong Grip. You lose 10% less stamina whenever you climb. So I have this built, we're just going to climb it without that perk. It is going to take exactly 100 Grit to get to the top. Then I'm going to buy the next perk, and we're going to see how much Grit we have left over when we get to the top, and that'll let us know if we still have that 10% increase. So as you can see, there we go. We actually had about 3 Grit remaining when we reached the top. Back down to the bottom, and we'll go ahead and buy that first perk, and we're going to do that again. Now we have 130 total points in stamina, so we should get to the top with 40 points in stamina remaining, or right around there, dependent on my jump and the climb. But right around 40 is going to be that sweet spot to give us that additional Grit, and it was exactly 40. So the first perk in Grit is working. Moving on to the second perk in Grit, and I'm going to put these side by side so you can see the stamina regeneration. But first I'm going to expend my stamina without this perk, and then I'm going to do it again with this perk. Now I got the stamina as close as I could to both perks, 157 to 160. There is going to be a little bit of time differentiation there. However, you can see that this perk is obviously working. I should, however, mention that depending on what armor weight you are wearing is going to affect how quickly you regen stamina. So if you have a single piece of medium armor, it does raise your armor level up to medium, and if you have a single piece of heavy armor, it does raise your armor level up to heavy. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the stamina regeneration, because it is affected by armor. The next perk is really easy to test. It's Iron Hard Muscles. So if we go into our inventory, you can see I currently have 27 armor. Going back to the attributes and selecting that next perk, this is going to give us more armor. So now you can see I have 42 armor. So it gives you a total of 15 additional armor points. That is going to be totally natural. So if I take all the armor off here, you can see I have 15 armor just from that perk. The next perk is Fluid Swings. Your basic attacks cost less stamina. So the way we're going to test this is we're going to do a light, and we went down to 181. That's a total of 9 stamina used for a light attack. Then if we do a heavy, we went down to 176. That's a total of 14 stamina used. Now if we go back in and we buy that next perk, we can then test it again. And we went down to 216. That's about half the amount of stamina we used before on a light attack. On a heavy attack, we went down to 210, which is 4 stamina less than we used before at a total of 10 stamina. The last perk in Grit is called Artful Dodger. Now this is where I'm going to get into the dirty little secret that Grit has. So I'm going to reset my Grit here, and I'm going to do a roll. There you go. You can see it goes down to 81, which is a total of 19 stamina used. If I go back in here and buy the first perk and I do a roll again, we go down to 106, which is a total of 24 stamina used. So as you can see, as we continue leveling up in Grit here, we are actually using more stamina. So every time you put points in Grit, the amount of stamina used for your roll actually increases. And you can see that across all the perks. Now if I go all the way up and get this to right before I buy that perk, and we do a roll, it used a total of 47 stamina. Now if I go back in and I buy that perk, we're actually going to see a difference of about 8 stamina. So you only gain 8 stamina back for your roll by buying that perk. And essentially, I would say that that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't feel like that perk in particular is very effective or worth putting the points into. Now, it is important to note that it does give you one more roll. So I have no points in grit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 takes me way below my stamina pool. If I go back in and I put all the points into grit, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, putting me way under my stamina pool again. But you do end up with one more roll out of that 5th perk in grit. At the 4th perk in grit, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see that you do end up being able to initiate one more roll with that 5th perk in grit. But I think I know what you guys are thinking. Essentially, adding points in grit makes your roll worse, and why would you put points into something that essentially makes your character worse? It's much like the temperature damage in Vitality, where you actually take more damage because you have higher Vitality points. This is going to be based on a percentage again, and I'm not going to get into any of that math in this video because honestly, I'd probably have a whack moment and not be able to show it to you correctly. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different in the comment section today. I want to know, if you were in charge of making the changes for grit in Conan Exiles, what changes would you make to this attribute? The whack moments in this video were sponsored by my legendary supporters. If you'd like to become a member, you can click the button below that says join. That'll give you all the details. And if you want to continue the fun, there's 2 videos on the screen. You can pick one of those to watch next. Please don't forget to whack the like button, and if you're new to the channel, I'd encourage you to click that subscribe button, click that bell so you get notified when I upload another video.